Okay, so we continue from here. We ended over here when I explained the lacunar system. So we continue from here. So under the influence of estrogens secreted by the ovary during the first part of the monthly ovarian cycle, the stromal cells and epithelial cells proliferate rapidly. So there is proliferation of cells in the endometrium. The endometrial surface is re-epithelialized or becomes thickened within 4 to 7 days after the beginning of the menstruation. So after menstruation, that's when the menstruation ends, within the 4 to 7 day of the menstruation. You know, menstruation normally is supposed to end on the 5th day, or day 5. So before day 5, that's day 4 to day 7, there should be what? Re-epithelialization or re-thickening of the endometrium. Before ovulation occurs, the endometrium increases greatly in thickness, owing to increasing numbers of stromal cells and to progressive growth of the endometrial glands and new blood vessels into the endometrium to support the growth of a new human being. At the time of ovulation, the endometrium is 3 to 5 millimeters thick, so it's supposed to increase in thickness. After ovulation, progesterone and estrogen are secreted in large quantities by the corpus luteum to support the pregnancy or the growing fetus or conceptus. The estrogens cause an additional cellular proliferation in the endometrium, whereas progesterone causes markedly or very high swelling and secretory development in the endometrium. So like I said, progesterone level is supposed to be high because that is what causes very high grade swelling and thickening of the endometrium to support fetal growth. The cytoplasm of the stromal cells increase. You know, there should be lipid and glycogen storage inside the endometrial stromal cells, and the blood supply to the endometrium should increase in proportion to developing secretory activities. So, the purpose of endometrial changes is to produce a highly secretory endometrium that contains large amounts of stored nutrients to provide appropriate conditions for the implanted fertilized ovum during the latter half of the monthly cycle. So if the endometrium, if there is an implantation, then the endometrium is supposed to be thickened to support the growing fetus. If the ovum is not fertilized, however, then 2 days before the end of the monthly cycle, the corpus luteum is supposed to break down, and estrogens as well as progesterone should decrease to low levels of secretion. The reduction in these hormones, estrogen and progesterone, especially progesterone at the end of the monthly ovarian cycle, will cause a decrease in the stimulation of endometrial cells, followed by breakdown of the endometrium itself. During the 24 hours preceding the onset of menstruation, or 24 hours before menstruation, the tortuous or accumulation of blood vessels leading to the mucosal layers of the endometrium become vasospastic, or blood vessels become constricted. That's 24 hours preceding the onset of menstruation. The blood vessels become constricted. The constricted or vasospastic blood vessels, there is decrease in nutrients and loss of hormonal stimulation, and this causes necrosis in the endometrium. Necrosis is what? Unprogrammed cell death due to inflammation and other things. As a result, blood at first seeps into the vascular layer of the endometrium, and hemorrhagic areas grow rapidly over a period of 24 to 36 hours. This phenomenon is what we call menstruation. The necrotic outer layers of the endometrium separate from the uterus at the size of the hemorrhages until about 48 hours after the onset of menstruation. All the superficial layers of the endometrium have peeled off or desquamated. The mass of desquamated tissue and blood in the uterine cavity, plus contractile effects of prostaglandins. You know, prostaglandins, they cause contraction of the uterus. So if somebody if you want to cause an abortion, there is a drug called Please, I'm not teaching you to go and do abortion. I'm just teaching you as a professional. You don't go and kill people's babies. And there's a drug called cytotec. Cytotec. Let me check the spelling well. There's a drug called, those who have been doing abortion, the ladies among you who have been doing abortion, killing people's children. And there's a drug called cytotec. So they go and buy this cytotec. Cytotec is a prostaglandin. It's a prostaglandin. Analog. It's a prostaglandin analog. So the women have been taking it. They go to the pharmacy and say, I want to do abortion. They'll give them cytotec and they'll go and kill somebody's child. So the cytotec will cause contraction of the uterus. Uterine contraction. Uterine contraction. So when the baby is within, the fetus is within 2 months or not more than 3 months, they'll go and buy cytotec. The cytotec will cause contraction of the uterus. Contraction. Cause the uterus to contract. And by contraction of the uterus, what happens is that the fetus comes out. It will come out in the form of a menstrual flow, that is during early gestation or early pregnancy. So the mass of desquamated tissue and blood in uterine cavity plus contractile effects of prostaglandin, which is an example is cytotec and other substances in the decaying uterus, all acting together initiate uterine contraction that expel the uterine contents. Okay, so this is a schematic representation of the lecture. Thank you very much. So we've come to this is the end of physiology of the female reproductive system. Physiology of the female reproductive system. We've come to an end of it. Thank you very much. God bless you.